Everybody. Welcome to Vinyl Junkies. Do you want to win this jazz record from legendary label Blue Note as everything drops? Share this episode. Share this episode with your friends. I will pick a winner and we will talk about Record Store Day 2018 Black Friday today. How was your weekend? Did you guys go out for the Black Friday, the big post-turkey blowout? I did not, but we did receive a bunch of records here at Vinyl Junkies, and there's plenty to talk about. So why don't we do that? You guys might want to know, on top of winning this fabulous Donald Byrd record. I know you want it. You want it. That record there, what we're going to do is we're going to be giving that away, and you got to share. But what we will be doing also next week is a very special holiday gift guide. Okay, so we'll do Vinyl Junkies' very first gift guide episode. Just waiting for some really good stuff to come in, and yeah, you guys are going to like it. I'm trying to put together something pretty special for you as well. And let's see, there's a metal show coming up. That's still in the works. Jazz show. If I could ever get Matt Block at Run Out Groove to finally get a date down, we will put together a jazz show, which will absolutely be interesting because Matt Block knows jazz. He really does. It should be good. So there you go. Oh, you know what? Some of you guys don't get out. I mean, face it. Black Friday is really cool if you live in a city where, you know, you don't have to travel too far or something, and there's a record store around. That's something that I understand. But some folks do all their shopping online. Yes? No? If that's the case, then online shops are definitely something that's cool for you. If that's the case, you might want to look at Vinyl Me Please's Thankful for Vinyl sale. It's pretty crazy, the sales that are out there. And Light in the Attic, I guess I'll give them a shout out too, because some of the prices are absolutely ridiculous, like under $10 for records. You might want to go check those sales out. But Black Friday, should we start where most of these conversations always wind up starting, which is to say the State of the Union is Black Friday, not Black Friday. Well, yeah, I guess we can talk Black Friday in a larger sense, but since this is Vinyl Junkies and we kind of just consume our music on wax, maybe we should be talking about, you know, how it affects us. So, Record Store Day, Black Friday. What's the deal? Tell me. Is it still just a, I don't know, a cheap cash-in? Do you still see that there's value in it? What are your opinions? I can't read your opinions there, so I'll definitely be checking him out. Ming Duk, how are you? Christopher Weaver, Nelson Garcia, I see you as well. My wife, my lovely, lovely, lovely wife is there as well. Can you believe it? Listening to me nerd out. How does it sound? You guys got to tell me. Okay, look. I've been covering this not Vinyl Junkies, but I've been covering this Record Store Day thing for a bunch of years now, and has my opinion changed over the years? Yeah, I think so, a little bit. I'll go into it, and I guess I'll explain why. Okay, look, I started collecting records again. I mean, I've collected them my entire life, but I started collecting records again in 2010, 2009, 2010. And started Vinyl Junkies in 2011. So there's been quite a few record store days since then. Now, if you go look on YouTube land, you will find that a video exists where, you know, I talk about all that ails Record Store Day. I don't know how many years ago, but it's got to be at least 5 years ago. The beard is significantly shorter. But I go on and talk about how it's basically a misery to wait in line, especially when, you know, you might get in line and see something that you're genuinely excited about, and there's some prick up front who's just a flipper and who'll go in, snipe the records that you want, pay him, go out, and they wind up on eBay, or they wind up on Discogs for inflated prices. That used to be the general through line, I guess. But the conclusion always comes to, you know what? It brings money to the independent record stores, so it sucks. But it brings money to the independent record stores, and that's absolutely what the point of it is. So God bless Record Store Day. As the years went on, you still see the same type of sniping. We're starting to get used to it a little bit more. But what it is that we're also seeing this many years later is that some things have been put in place that weren't put in place before. Like, I noticed some stuff post RSD that was really cool. You know, Record Store Day, obviously, you know, all their pages get a spike in traffic during this time as they celebrate the independent record store and actively work to promote them. But one thing that I noticed is some of the post Record Store Day messages that were showing up on, you know, their pages, which say, you know what, you didn't find one of your records, that's okay. What you can do is there are stores and there are sites. Well, I mean, they talk about Discogs directly, and I believe even eBay, but what they do is they've provided a way for the people who are selling those records to basically, you as a buyer know if it's a pledged site or not. That's to say that the records go on sale to the record stores first, the independent record stores first, but after all of that's done, they can put them online, but they can't put them online at inflated prices. So if you see something that says, you know, a pledged Record Store Day store, you know that you're dealing with somebody who basically at least took the pledge not to fuck you over. So you're not going to have to pay $1 quillion for that copy of Typo Negative's Bloody Kisses that everybody seems to want. I mean, just seeing you guys go completely crazy for it made me want it more. So that didn't exist. I'm happy that it does, because, hey, you guys shouldn't have to pay for this stuff. You know, you shouldn't have to pay more for the records. The other thing that always comes up is, well, you know, is it just a big cash in? Are they just putting out, you know, are they scraping the bottom of their vaults just to put out records that we don't need? One comment that I read maybe 3 weeks before Record Store Day was, you know, I had to look through the list, and if you remove bootlegs, live versions, picture discs, and 7 inches, there's pretty much nothing left. Now, I understand the general sentiment of that, but I don't agree, because there was definitely something left. Okay? But I do understand that argument, the idea of things being bulked up. So what? I guess I'll talk about that a little bit more, but the general theme is, so what? Does it get you to the record store? Does it get everybody happy and buying what they want? Because you do still get to spend your money. The answer is yes. The other thing was, yeah, the stuff that's being put out is all by the majors. That was a big argument, right? So what's really happening is it's supposed to be celebrating independent music and independent record stores. And what's happening is that the big record labels, you know, the Sonys and the Warner Brothers and the Universal and all this, are the ones plugging up all of the pressing plants, and you can't get anything that's legitimately independent. That was certainly the case, I would say, even 5 years ago. I think that that's really let up quite a bit for one fantastic reason. And you know what? It's one of the reasons why I would say Record Store Day is fucking amazing, because it's directly attributable to grassroots movements and people who genuinely give a shit about music and genuinely try to do something to get you into stores. There's more pressing plants now than there ever have been before. Okay, startups, that has its whole other set of problems, but the thing is that bottleneck that used to exist doesn't exist the way it used to back then. So that's been fixed up somewhat. Look, selection, who am I to say what's worth coming out and what's not? I mean, I'll present the argument because obviously I know the argument very well, but I think that if the records are out there and you want them, why the fuck not? I mean, you know, Here, let me look at one record and let's see what you guys think, okay? Won't be long. Okay, so let's go with the case of this here. This Jim Morrison record, which was put out by Warner. Now, it's a very beautiful record. And Warner is all in when it comes to these record store day things. And their Warner's general marketing pattern is to release limited editions, and they're very big on the color. So this is a color version, and depending on the types of records, there are varying degrees of the quality of the packaging and everything. But for the most part, I gotta say, look, you get what you pay for. Okay, so that's to say that you get bang for your buck. The cheaper Rhino pressings are cheap. Getting a $20 record counts for something still now. But in the case of this, you know, Jim Morrison, Music by the Doors, it's a really pretty number, and it's all stamped over here. So, I mean, in terms of the record collectors, I'm pretty sure some of them are going to get really, you know, jazzed up over the whole thing. It's got the inserts, and it's got the book in the middle, right? It's got the little book in the middle. Now, I've been buying records a long time, and I've been a Doors fan my entire life. I never personally saw the needs to own this record, and I've seen it in a million different places, but what the fuck does that even mean? Right? This is something that came out after the fact. Morrison was long dead. It was an attempt to cash in on his, yeah, okay, fine. If you like the record, go out and buy it. I personally, before this came into the promo box, didn't know that there was any type of shortage to this Jim Morrison record, but if you like Jim Morrison, you like the Doors, who the fuck am I to tell you not to go buy it? Go buy the record. If I had to base it on what it is, hey, you know what? Nice pressing. It's good. You know, it's what you can expect. So, that, I think, is what most people who complain will have to say about Record Store Day. Are they like, I mean, do we really need this other record? And I guess I used that Doors record just to make a point to say how very personal it is. You ask me, I don't need that Doors record. I don't. Let me show you something else, which is exactly the same thing, but my opinion is completely different. Okay, here you go. Check it, man. You see this Yes record? Now, I live in Quebec, Canada. For those of you who live here, you know that Quebec is just a massive prog capital. Like a lot of prog rock bands during the 70s gained favor here in North America before they gained favor anywhere. And bands like Jethro Tull and Yes and King Crimson and all these bands are still touring off a reputation that they built here in Quebec 50 fucking years ago, 40 years ago. So, the reason I'm saying all of this is because, I mean, I've never been a huge Yes fan. I have the records and everything, but the fact is that the first two Yes records are records I never see. So this here is a record I never saw. Not only did I never see it, but I never heard it. Okay? That's probably because I'm not a hardcore prog collector. I love prog, I do, but I'm not a hardcore prog collector. It's very white, it's very noodly, it can be fucking obnoxious and kind of like pretentious and stuff, and it sometimes it gets over the top, you know? But hey man, some people like it. So the thing is that this comes through the mail, right? Yes, Time and a Word. Is this some kind of funny color? No, it isn't a funny color. It's a regular old black, which I like even more. It's a gorgeous 180-gram slab, like really well-pressed slab. The jacket's nice, nothing special, but you know what? They added a little something to it. They gave it the German pressing. It would seem that this record from Yes has many different covers. So They gave it the German pressing. So yeah, you know, you can say there's a little bit of a gimmick and everything, and it's a Yes record. Who needs another Yes record? I mean, the answer would be me. I need another Yes record. I didn't know that that existed. For me, my world of Yes was introduced by Chaume FM 98 Rock here in Montreal, the home of rock and roll. That radio station fucking destroyed music for me. So, you know, I can listen to stuff like Roundabout, but chances are I'm not going to go out and buy it. I see all good people say, so satisfied, I'm on my way. Same Yes songs over and over again. Okay, you know why I need this? Because I do like Yes. This is before all of those songs that were so satisfied, I'm on my way. It sounds different. This sounds more like an early Deep Purple record to me in some ways. The organ reminds me more of John Lord than it does Post-Fragile. There's something a little bit more psychedelic and a little bit more raw to this record. So am I happy? Hell yeah. What do we need another Yes record for? I don't know. Made me happy. So I guess the theme to this record store day is, if it makes you happy, fuck what everybody else says. Go spend your money. Buy the records. You know what? Especially if you're going into the record store, man. You're supporting a record store. You're supporting independent guys. You think those guys are rich? No, man. So that's Christmas for them. Bravo on you. Now, we'll get into, I guess I'll just start flipping through records, but we'll get into some records that were my big thing. The reason that Blue Cheer record is out is because you might want to stop listening to this show right now and go straight to the fucking record store right now and buy this Blue Cheer record, because that is the best thing that came out for me in on Record Store Day, Black Friday. So what we'll do is, I guess I'll look at the list and tell you what it is that I didn't get, that I was kind of bummed. Let me know if you guys found a copy or not. And maybe the reason maybe I shouldn't even be telling you this, because if you get a copy, that means I don't get a copy. But the records that I was, you know, I really wanted to score, top of the list was David Axelrod's Earth Rot on Now Again. I don't know if that's going to be released after Black Friday, but that definitely, I mean, David Axelrod records are amazing. So that's something that I wanted, and I know Now Again puts out good records. Let's see. Okay, no, I have that one, so I'll talk about that later. Resonance record put out a 3LP Eric Dolphy record, which would have been cool. Run Out Groove. Oh, so frustrating. I don't know if this was the case across the board, but mail has been fucking murder. So generally, when I do these RSD shows, I try to do them ahead of time, okay? The entire idea was for me to put this show together for Wednesday, okay, where we're gonna go live, and I even had Billy Fields of Warner come on. We were gonna talk about records. It was gonna be this whole schmoz, but the mail just didn't work. There's strikes here in Canada. It seems like there's strikes in Belgium. So the Tidal Waves box came late. Everything came late. I had to cancel the show. Now we're stuck with this. It's just me doing solo. What do you want me to say? I'm sorry. So part of that box was supposed to be the Run Out Groove stuff, and Run Out Groove put out two titles. The one that all of you seem to want, if I were to base myself on what I was, you know, reading on the forum, the Vinyl Junkies forum on Facebook, is definitely, without a doubt, Typo Negative Bloody Kisses. I think is 3LP. It's crazy how many of you guys just went crazy for it. You want it. Supposedly it was a very difficult record to find. In most places, 1 or 2 copies. I hope it comes. I didn't even know I wanted it as badly as I did until I noticed how crazy all of you were going. It's not because I flip my records. I don't flip my records, man. I play my records. I listen to them. But another thing that I saw nobody post at all on any of the socials, which is too bad, but Run Out Groove put out Dexter Gordon live at the Playboy Jazz Festival, which is later in his career, but the Playboy Jazz Festival put out some amazing jazz records. There's stuff especially that came out during the late 60s or something. There's this whole series of Playboy Jazz Festival records that I always look for, but I don't find very often. Anyway, Dexter Gordon was part of that entire series. There were 2,000 copies. I hope one is coming my way. There was a Tangerine Dream record that was supposed to come. Now, Kraft Recordings was supposed to send Jazz Dispensary, Purple Funk Part 2, and Fritz the Cat, which is like a black exploitation kind of, not really black exploitation, but Robert Crumb type drawings and Robert Bakshi movie, and that soundtrack was supposed to come out, but Kraft Records never sent them, and their dumbass fucking PR company never even bothered responding. So that's the way vinyl works sometimes. Weezer, Africa. Nobody bought Weezer, Africa. I wanted that. Weezer playing Africa, and Toto playing a Weezer song. I forgot which song. I think it was Hash Pipe. But that was on 10-inch, and I wanted it. So these are the records that I didn't get. And there was one called Orchestra di Enrico Simonetti, okay, Blue Frog and others. This was BTF. It's basically Goblin type record, and it's got this big cartoon blue frog on it, and it's from the mid-70s. It's rare, where originals are rare. I wanted that. Never came. Bob Marley and the Wailers. I noticed that a lot of you guys posted Catch a Fire. Catch a Fire came out, and it came with the original lighter. Okay, so like the Zippo cover, and that was very much a hot item, I noticed. A lot of you wanted it. I guess I did too, but that's kind of where we go into the gimmick thing, because as far as I heard, I didn't see it though, I can't confirm, but the vinyl wasn't great shakes. You know, the vinyl wasn't very good. It was kind of warped and stuff. I don't know if that's the case. If one of you guys have that Bob Marley Catch a Fire that came out on Black Friday, please post it. Let me know what you thought, how does it sound, all the rest of that stuff. And those are the records I didn't get. Those are the ones that got away. What I'll do is I'll talk about... Oh, actually, there's another one from Org Music. The Org box never came. I don't know what's going on there either, but there was one that I was genuinely looking forward to. They put out a record by Worm, Exhumed, that sounded interesting and seemed to be getting a lot of play on social media, but I can't say. I'm guessing I'm probably going to get it after the fact, and if I do, I'm going to post it, but I would have liked to tell you about it now so that I could say, hey, you, they're flying like hotcakes. Go buy these records from wonderful Org Music. So now I'm going to talk about the records that I did get, and we'll go through the entire pile and we'll see how long it lasts. How's that? When I stop talking, I stop talking. And at the end of the show, I'm going to pick one of you to win this record, okay? Donald Byrd, Fancy Free, Blue Note remake, most gorgeous VMP version. You can visit VMP if you want to subscribe to their records. We will be doing a show actually with Matt that we do every year, the best of VMP. Me and Hessler are going to get together and talk about our favorite records of VMP, what the surprises were. Basically a best of 2018, I should say, but VMP style, where we'll focus on those records. And we'll talk about the records that, you know, kind of fell flat, at least for me, and fell flat for Hessler. So that should be a really cool nerd out session coming. And then at the end of the year, I'm going to be doing a personal best of 2018. Best isn't even the word, it's just records that I really liked in various categories, and we'll take it from there. And 2019, folks, I guess I should tell you that one big project we've been working on is a quality control project, so we'll have much more news for you at the beginning of 2019. We've been very busy here at Vinyl Junkies, trying to get to the bottom of, you know, what the deal is with the records and the quality control. So I'm pretty sure that we'll have some findings that'll blow you away, and I can't wait to show them to you and hear what you have to say. But it's going well, you know, it's going well. So, this here, Blue Cheer. Now, you know the old argument, right? Why do you want the Blue Cheer record? The reason you want a Blue Cheer record is because it's proto-metal. It's the roots of heavy metal. So all of us who have seen, you know, a movie like Metal, A Headbanger's Journey, or Heavy Metal, A Headbanger's Journey, you know, remember that first part. Where do the roots start? And generally speaking, everybody Everybody kind of starts at bands like Led Zeppelin and Black Sabbath. Black Sabbath really being, the progenitor because it was heavy as hell. You had people like Lemmy who would say, hey, Deep Purple. And I'm kind of with Lemmy. Out of all of those early classic bands, Deep Purple is very much my favorite of the whole gang and the stuff that I listen to most. But in terms of heaviness, I always understood the argument of Black Sabbath. It's just Sabbath 1's insane. Even Led Zeppelin 1 was just fucking crushingly heavy. So, Blue Cheer, okay, I like it, I have it, but the 67 demos, are we scraping the bottom of the barrel? You read a little bit more. One thing the Modern Harmonic does really well is, this is Beat Rocket, which is another sub-label of Sundays, but one thing they do really well is they do their liner notes really well, so they tell the story. I like that a lot. And, all of a sudden, the legendary 67 demos. Now, telling me that they're legendary doesn't mean anything, because everybody who's trying to sell you something will talk about how it's legendary. Everything is the best if you're selling it. So, that doesn't do it. What did do it was, okay, first of all, 67 demos, right? Check out the sticker. Now, this is fun, and I should say this is like, promo. So, the 67 procreation that birthed heavy metal. This is where heavy metal starts. 1967 is the interesting part, right? Because 67 is before Black Sabbath 1. So, okay, whatever. Let's see. Blue, translucent, gorgeous, beautiful. Nice slab, too. Everything's looking good. Everything's looking good. You look, okay, in terms of, is it purchase worthy for Black Friday? Well, yeah, it's got this kind of a poster, and it's gorgeous. I like it a whole lot. But will I ever hang up this poster? Chances are not. I don't really do that. Then I did something. Modern Harmonic Sundays were one of the labels, actually the label who got me the Black Friday stuff earliest. So I had it a full 3-4 weeks before last Friday. I had a chance to listen to it. Dudes, I dropped the needle on this motherfucker. And the first thing that came to mind was, this is the heaviest record. This is the heaviest recording, the heaviest, earliest known recording that I ever heard personally. I'm not making any superlative statement because I don't know what else is out there, but I know that for my collection and from what I bought, I always kind of traced everything back to Black Sabbath. And what Black Sabbath 1 was 69 or something. This is 67. This is heavier than Black Sabbath 1. This is fucking loud. This is a loud record. It's the record I didn't know I needed. It's the record I didn't know I wanted, and it's the record I would have never bought if it wasn't sent as promo. And it winds up being legitimately one of the most important proto-metal records that I own. It's fucking awesome. This record is awesome. There's only 3 songs on it. But if you collect heavy metal and you like the roots of metal, you want to get this. I was talking to Memstein of Exhumer, Skull Pit, longtime Vinyl Junkies member, and he was at the store, because we're doing a metal show, right? So we were talking, he's there, yeah, I'm doing my Black Friday shopping. I told him, dude, you gotta buy that. You gotta buy this Blue Cheer record. It's that heavy. Of course, he wound up picking it up because somebody who collects metal like Mem does needs it. I can think of a whole bunch of other of you guys in there that, you collect the proto metal. You like kind of telling the story of this heavy music. That Blue Cheer record, I would say, is absolutely essential. And for me, the crown jewel of Record Store Day this year. I'm fucking thrilled. I'm never going to get rid of that record. It's heavy. Moving on and switching gears completely. Are you enjoying the show? I'm enjoying the show. Are you enjoying the show? Switching gears completely. Another record that delighted the fuck out of me was this here. Put out by Reprise, which is Warner. But I own a lot of Duke Ellington records. It's hard not to. Duke Ellington's been recording since the 40s, and he recorded tons of records. So they're everywhere, right? And he was a very marketable artist who sold records, but I never knew, maybe it's because I'm not a huge jazz. I don't know. Listen, all I'm trying to say is that I never knew that Duke Ellington played Mary Poppins. This is a complete surprise to me. So when I hear Duke Ellington take his own special twist on Chim Chim Cheree or A Spoonful of Medicine or Supercalifragilistic Expialidocious done Duke Ellington style, it's mind-blowing. He manages to deftly insert his language, what I call Ellingtonia. Insert his language, insert his piano playing, and you hear Paul Gonsalves on the saxophone, and you can hear that thing, but pay ultimate respect to the structure of the songs. And the reason it is that I say that is because jazz fans, man, jazz, it's kind of like the beginning of that Simpsons episode, right? And the song just kind of goes completely off track when Lisa Simpson starts playing her saxophone solo. So that's generally what happens sometimes with jazz. It goes off center, and this doesn't. It adds flavor and stays exactly where it is. And this record hadn't been reissued in over 50 years. So this just arrived, and you want it. If you're a jazz guy and you like jazz from the 60s and 50s and you like musicals and you like Duke Ellington, I can't see how you would not like that Duke Ellington record. It's freaking awesome. It sounds good. It's a nice slab, 180 grams, so quality there. Like I said, Rhino's doing it right. There are still quality control issues, but Rhino is doing it right. I'm seeing things that I like a lot. Another big one that you guys mentioned was this here. This is the first time it's ever been released on vinyl. It's a 2 LP set of the Ramones live in Glasgow, December 19th, 77. That would make this the Rocket to Russia tour. And there are 2 records. It's a 2 LP set with the 4th set being etched. So let's see if I can get the light. If I can get the light done properly, maybe I'll even show you the etching. But the etching in and of itself is like, oh, hey, man, you do see it. Check it. Is that freaking cool or what, man? Right? Do you see the eagle? Nah, you don't really see it. Anyway, it's basically the Ramones logo on the 4th side with 3 sides of music. And it's punk as fuck. The thing that struck me the most about this Ramones record that I loved, and I think just any Ramones fan is gonna want it, is even early on. Like, I mean, I saw the Ramones in the 90s, no earlier than that. But it struck me how that attitude, that fucking cocksure attitude, that sneer is there from this early on. That was the thrill that I got more than anything. And the thrill that got me also was Glasgow, Scotland. Not exactly what I would think of as Ramones Central, but these guys are all gabba gabba hey, gabba gabba hey, gabba gabba hey. And they're all getting excited in it. And, a young, at this point, Joey Ramone is just in complete control of his thing. And you can hear that he has presence. So those of you that miss the Ramones as much as I miss the Ramones, this here is a numbered thing. I don't know how many numbers there are, but I got number 3,224 of I don't know how many copies, but this is a good one. It's raw, okay? And it's raw not because of the pressing, it's raw because of the actual recording. So, 1977 live concert. I don't know if it's direct to board or whatever, but anyway, good record. It's not record store day without Sun Ra, it seems. I told you many months ago that you can expect to see a whole ton of Sun Ra releases because there were a whole ton of Sun Ra releases. He just released everything and not released, but he recorded everything. Sun Ra was a meticulous, when it came to recording his sessions, and the band lived together in community, so it was music very much full-time all the time. There's a lot of material out there, so those of you that think that there's a lot of Sun Ra, you haven't seen anything yet. More is coming. This is another one from Modern Harmonic, but what's fun about this is that this was a record that was supposed to be released on Impulse Records, originally and never came out. 73, 74, I think, is when it was supposed to come out. It was considered to, I don't know, they didn't think it was good enough to release, but Impulse had a contract with Sun Ra for some records that were going to come out on his private label, but were going to be distributed by Impulse. So Sun Ra, being who Sun Ra was, immediately prepared maybe a dozen releases, just released a whole ton of stuff, and none of it saw the right light of day. This is one of them that we're seeing many, many years later. Good. As a matter of fact, much Mini Moog, much... you know the funkier Sun Ra? This is the funkier Sun Ra. And for those who like it, you know, the inserts, you enjoy your inserts, check it. This was originally supposed to be the cover of the album, so Modern Harmonic put it together with all their Sun Ra projects because they have released much Sun Ra material. Is this show doing what it's supposed to? Am I talking about the records you want? It will go back and forth in terms of music. I'm not going to stay with one thing, and that's a good thing. You like what you like, I like what I like. We're allowed, right? We're here to nerd out about the things that we like. One thing that I can tell you I enjoy about Record Store Day, always, and I will always say, God bless this fucking thing, and I hope it continues forever, and I'm never going to be a Grinch about it. It makes people happy. It makes newbies happy. It does. It makes even the old guys. The old guys are more miserable. We're more miserable because we've been around the block a couple of times and we don't want to, you know, a bunch of things, but it makes people happy. And there is no doubt that when this weekend that just passed comes around, Thursday passes, you know, people get excited on the Wednesday because Thursday is the Thanksgiving. Of course, I'm talking about our American friends. Friday, the records come out. Then you have the weekend to play them. More records get played, more posts get put up. This whole community thing transcends just trying to sell a couple of records. I don't want to be a Grinch about it because it would be absolutely inaccurate to do that. People are happy. And some of them, a lot of them are talking about how much this record sold for and how quick this went and complaining about the flippers and how it's 3 times as much now on this and that. And I get all of that. But you know what? Can I tell you something about those people? Those people talking about the money? They're talking about money no matter what they do. Okay? Records are just the topic du jour today. That's all it is. They talk about something else. That's what they see. They see a Picasso. They talk, oh, I wonder how much Sotheby's, how much it would fetch. Fuck those people. Don't let them take away your joy of music. It's just... I think I'm done with that entire thread. Any way you can get it. Anything that causes a discussion. Anything that causes us to get together like we are on a show like this where we're talking about our passion. Things that we love. Things that matter to us. Enough to get on a bus, a bike, a car. Travel to the record store. Wait in line. You're going to tell me that's a bad thing? Come on. This isn't because we're trying to save $20 on a refrigerator. These are records, and most of us are there because we love music. It gets us exciting. If the event helps that, I'm good with it. Hey, a show like this is supposed to be an event too, right? Let us move on. This was another modern harmonic record, but something weird was these really weird grindhouse movies. They used to be exist. Well, basically they're 60s and 70s movies, but I first got my introduction to something weird and grindhouse during the VHS era of the 80s, you know, and I'd see a lot of this stuff. And this basically is a 2 LP compilation of a bunch of the songs that showed up in all of those really bad exploitation schlock movies. And it's awesome. I gotta say, the music's not as weird as you would think or as weird as projected here. But there's one thing that's amazing about this collection, besides the fact that there's two records, I mean. But there's one thing that I like more than anything about this collection is that those of you that maybe listen to Sirius XM, Little Steven's Underground Garage, will recognize, you know, when he does all of these little interludes where he just throws in these little wild snippets from movies that just 30 seconds of it kind of put you in a certain mood. There are tons of those snippets here coming from those Grindhouse movies, so this wound up being something I was very happy about. Highly recommended. We're 40 minutes in, and I still got a few records, so who knows? Hey, maybe we'll even get to an hour this time. All right. Should we have the conversation about picture discs or not? Do we talk about picture discs? Because one thing that we definitely see during Record Store Day is a proliferation of picture discs. What it is that happens, and I mean, it frustrates me, but what it is that happens is having something different, just doing something a little different and putting a limited number automatically makes it more collectible. I personally find it cheap, and I don't think that we need to do that anymore. But a lot of that is still happening. Again, maybe that's my miserable part coming out, but let me give you a place where I'm a little torn, okay? Picture discs was always one thing because, I mean, they've existed for a while, but I remember the most when, you know, the 80s came out. That's when I really started paying attention to it because I was a metalhead. And metal labels used to put out picture discs, and those picture discs sounded like utter garbage. They were horrible. It was something that you either hang up on your wall, but you don't play them. They sounded horrible, terrible. Now, that's been my story all along. And for the most part, if I had to collect a picture disc over a regular record, I'll always take the regular record, always. That said, okay, this Devo record sounds not bad. It's got a little bit of surface noise, it does. It's beautiful. It's a record I never owned before. I haven't seen any copies. So if this comes, it's like, wait a second, you know what? If it's a $20 record, a $22 record, yeah. What I can say is that if you're really just buying records for this, like, you know, to buy a bit, to listen to them, if you can hold off, picture discs aren't your answer. That being said, with the caveat that they sound better now than they ever have before. But picture discs aren't your answer. You always want... think about it. What's a picture disc? Check it. Okay, let's look at this. What this is, guys... Yeah, actually, let me talk about some of the things. What this is basically a thin piece of paper underneath the grooves. So... there's the vinyl, then they put this thin piece of paper that contains the picture, and then the grooves get pressed on top of that. You can't expect it to be the same as just a solid record. It's just not going to happen. It doesn't sound as good. It doesn't. That's because it's a gimmick. But the gimmick sounds better now than it ever has. Another thing that I hate about picture discs is they put them in these cheap plastic fucking sleeves that scratch up everything. So... they're even telling you by putting them in these sleeves, and of course you have to, right? Because you have to be able to see the picture, but just by putting them in these sleeves, they're already telling you it's a fucking gimmick. It's a gimmick. Because this plastic here, if I go like this, I'll slit your throat with this plastic. It's sharp. There's edges. It's shit. You shouldn't be putting a record in here. You just shouldn't. Sorry. But picture discs are better now than they ever been. You see, this is my attempt to be fair, to balance. Do you want to win records? Are you enjoying yourself? Are you enjoying yourself? Do you like Donald Byrd? Because you should. Jazz funk. Share the You see that it's right there. That you see the Vinyl Me Please ad for that record. I'm gonna pick somebody, but you have to share this. And if you don't, I'm never gonna speak to you again. Okay. I wasn't allowed to be a Madonna fan. Metalheads were not allowed to be a Madonna fan. I was, what? When did she start? 82, 83, I don't remember. But that put me at, what, 12 years old, 13 years old? Young. Pubescent. Now, pubescent, and, you know, while a hot girl writhes around on a gondola singing about being a virgin, with her bosoms heaving is exciting. But I was such a committed metalhead, that even sex couldn't sway me. So Madonna sucked. Who fucking dances with a lion? Who does this? And I never liked her music because it always seemed like she tried too hard. So let's say when I talk about divas, you notice how people don't talk about Madonna as a diva, or at least not the people I know. It just always felt like she tried too hard. So that whole sex thing, and it felt like she was trying too hard. Pushing boundaries, but I don't know, there was just something that was off for me. Ask any Madonna fan and they'll feel completely different. But now I'm older, right? And I have the records, and I like the records because I just listen to them for what they are. And what happened is that I listened to Madonna through a completely different lens. It's 2018 now, so that would be, 40 years after the fact? 30 years after the fact. 30, even more, 35 years after the fact. That's to say that I have lived with Madonna in some type of a relationship for 35 years. I've hated her a long time. But you see, when you get older, you realize that all of this is a pile of shit. It's not the music. It's what it stands for. Start talking. All I gotta say is the word Nickelback. And you're gonna have Nickelback. I gotta say Justin Bieber. Everybody gets all... It's almost cool to hate some things. And metalheads are even more extreme because you have to really pledge your allegiance to it. So I wasn't allowed. See, I like Madonna now. So this came in, and this is a record store day record, and there's 6,000 of them. And as far as I know, it's been released on LP before, but I've never seen it. But this blew me away. This, I think, is my favorite Madonna album. And yes, I'm new to it. My wife had this way back when it came out, so... I remember that song, Frozen. Let's get some echo in here. Well, I'm frozen. Right? And I didn't think much of it. And then there was that other big song, Ray of Light. And didn't think much of it either because I wasn't into techno. But you see... I was listening to a lot of Japanese music back then, so it wasn't my scene. But playing the record 20 years later and realizing, okay, William Orbit produced. Guys, this album sounds fucking awesome on vinyl. It really sounds good. And, not having to wear that uniform of metal has made me really enjoy this, and I know that it's a record that I'm going to play more than just once. It's not something that I'm going to play just... This is my favorite Madonna record. And I still don't think that she's a diva, because divas don't have to try. They're just kind of born into it, and Madonna just always tries too hard, Kissing Britney Spears, all that. Cher's just Cher. Cher wakes up and she's Cher. Before she puts on the makeup, she's Cher. Of course she's got to put on the rest. Dolly is Dolly. Even though she's all dollied up, Dolly is Dolly. You understand? There's a level. Aretha was Aretha. Aretha was the queen. She was born into it. This is diva. Madonna worked real hard. I'm not knocking her music. It's just, it's actually not even about music. It's about the whole perception of diva. Is Celine Dion a diva? Probably. I fucking hate Celine Dion, though. I've spoken to you of my trauma with Celine Dion. I'm from Quebec. It happens. Now this. Love Shack, baby, Love Shack. I would never buy this, but some of you were really happy because I'm not like a huge fan of this period of B-52s. I like the early stuff, but can I tell you one reason why if you want this record or if you like this record, you should buy it immediately? And this is coming from somebody who's not a color guy, right? Check this. Check this, man. I gotta say, that's some beautiful splatter vinyl, right? Other side's more along the red side. It looks like a tie-dye t-shirt, and I think just on that, it's like, whoa, that's cool. And the thing that Rhino has going for them when it comes to this um, is the fact that they're affordable records. Rhino press affordable records. So here you go, man. Colored and all. Is it rare? I don't know. Look, I don't know. Here's one, you guys. We're getting to the end. We're getting to Stone Temple Pilots. We're getting to the end. Here's one that some of you had a conversation about. The Flaming Lips. As far as I know, it's a first-time release on LP. The Mushroom tapes. These are demos that came before some earlier album, and I don't know the name because I'm not a Flaming Lips fan. I've seen them live. I know some stuff, but I can't really claim to know a whole lot about them. But this record is noisy as fuck. And I don't mean the pressing. I mean it's noisy as fuck. I had to turn the thing off after 10 minutes because my ears were hurting. And from what I understand, that's the point. So, those of you that this is supposed to be really a big deal with Flaming Lips people, if that's the case, and you already know ahead of time the music that's on it, which is to say that your ears will bleed, you know, because it's very screechy and it's not, it's all of that. It's the reason I can't play it, though. But I like noisy music. I mean, it's just not my kind. Noisy music is to me when you want to make it noisy. So if I look at a band like, you know, noise bands like Merzbow or Hannah Tarash or any of these guys, they're trying to be noisy. That's the whole point. But this just sounds like the equipment's not working properly. It is. I'm getting old, maybe. Okay. We're down to our last two records. And the last record is where it is that you tell me whether... should you be making it or not? You see this really weird record here? You'll notice the cover's kind of like a little off. That's because this is supposed to be a 3D album cover. So it comes with 3D glasses that you're supposed to put on. And the album's supposed to look different. Oh, look at that. The butterfly is now coming straight for me. Let's see if I can see the back cover, and these guys are playing live right in my living room. Oh my God, it works. It's like they are right here. So if you are interested in a recent 2018 live performance in 3D of the Stone Temple Dickheads, you want this record because it is 3D. And finally, I didn't open it because I don't know Todd Rundgren, so I'm waiting for one of you guys to tell me, dude, this record that you have is absolute gold. You really need to open it. You do. Because this is a record store day release, and this is his second record, I believe, and it is a limited edition of 3,500. Watatao. Only 3,500 of this splendiferous Todd Rundgren record. So should I unseal it and listen to it? Because before it arrived in the mail, I didn't even know I needed it. Is this what you guys are talking about when you say, you know what, they just fucking blow up those bins full of stuff that's what? And to that I say, I'm not opening it, at least not now. Until, you know, one of you guys are going to tell me you really want that Todd Rundgren record. That's what I'm looking for. But until then, I am not opening it. I don't know what color it is. I don't know. But since when is it a problem to walk into a record store and see just a big old pile of new records there just waiting for you to discover? Since when is that a problem? Since when you're flipping through records, you let the records that you don't want ruin your mood for the records that you do want? If you're walking into an independent store, even if there's nothing on Record Store Day, there's used records. Now, if you don't like the crowds, that I understand completely. You see, I don't go to Record Store Day because I'm not waiting in line. I don't like people. You guys pushing me around to get to the same fucking record, not interested. You can have it. That Frank Zappa and the Mothers of Invention picture disc, it's all yours, mano. You have it. Don't push me. As a matter of fact, I want you to have that Frank Zappa record so badly that I won't even wait in line and fight you for it. You can just take it. I'm okay with it. And that, dear friends, is 55 minutes of Record Store Day Black Friday review. We will finish by talking about stuff that's coming. Next week, we have the gift guide show. I would like to say next Sunday, but it's going to depend on what arrives when. I'm expecting some material, and if it does, you're going to like it. It's going to be a good show. Good gift stuff. Okay, box sets. Really, I'm going to give you guys some good ideas. Accessories. Then we got a metal show, which I'm really trying to fit in with Memstein, so that we can talk about his latest release with a member of Church of Misery, Skull Pit. We got a year-end show, 2 year-end shows. The Vinyl Me Please year-end show, where we talk about all of their releases with Hessler, and my own year-end show, which is going to happen sometime during the very end, the last show of the year, and a jazz show with Matt Block of Run Out Groove. If he ever says, yeah, let's do it on this date, then we're going to talk about jazz, and it will be interesting. And that, friends, amici, amigos, ami, we're done. Should I show the prize one more time? Okay, what we're going to do is, because I haven't picked a winner, and I promised, didn't I? What we're going to do, friends, is we're going to play some winner picking music. As I look through the notes and see who shared what and who made constructive comments, I will play some music for picking winners. It is brought to you by Le Rêve du Québec. Le Rêve du Québec. My man, Lucien Bedard. You lucky, lucky, lucky ducks. You listen to this, and I will pick a winner. While you listen to Lucien do his stuff, you share. Okay. So I'll admit that the first name that I saw right here is not the name I'm going to pick, because Stephen Corbett, you were miserable. You are the first comment I read here, and it says none. There is no, you didn't get any records because it's another con. You, sir, are a Grinch. You, sir, deserve many lumps of coal in your stockings this Christmas, Stephen Corbett. You are a Grinch. A Grinch, and it is because you are a Grinch that I cannot, in good conscience, give you a free Donald Byrd record. So you suffer. No soup for you. Let's pick another winner. Take it away, Lucien. Nathan Youngblood. All I see here, if you didn't share, I'm taking the prize back, so I'm picking a backup prize. If Nathan Youngblood didn't do this, he just left a comment that says dickheads. Bah ha 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 ha. You know? That's what I call audience participation. Nathan Young, you win for your dickheads comments. Donald Byrd, fancy free record courtesy of Vinyl Me Please. But maybe, just maybe, you didn't share. And that record that you see right there in the ad will become a lump of coal, so I will pick up a backup. You just keep listening to Lucien. He will keep you busy as I pick a backup winner in case Nathan Youngblood doesn't do anything. Okay. Chad Tematrad, lad, did you share? You are the backup winner if fucking Nathan Youngblood didn't share. You would be the backup winner. Did you share, Chad Tematrad, lad? And if not, we're going to give it to Samuel Samadi Twining. So now we have three possible winners of this prize. Twee, twee, twee. Twee, twee, twee. See you guys next week. Thanks. I had a lot of fun hanging out with you, and I will read your comments. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for following. I hope you enjoy it.